If I lost everything tomorrow, I had no contacts, I had no cash, I have no audience, and I had to start from absolute scratch. There is one business model that I would go all in on. And this is the same business model that has made me and my friends in the industry over $20,000 a day. I don't even have to run ads. I don't have to manage accounts. I don't have to do shit. Most people overlook it because they think getting into pay-per-call means you have to be a marketing genius, or you have to have shit tons of money to spend on ads, or you have to have all these relationships. But the reality is, when I first got into pay-per-call, I had none of that. I was fucking broke. Bro, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna pay my rent. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I just got screwed by this guy. I thought this client was supposed to pay me. Now they're not paying me. Bro, it was cooked, all right? So when I first got into this, I thought you had to do all these things or be this person or have these contacts, but you don't. So instead of competing with Facebook and Google and me trying to media buy, all I did was I tapped into a strategy that literally no one was talking about, and that was brokering calls. So that means instead of spending large amounts of money to generate these calls from Facebook and Google and try to resell them and hope to God you have a good buyer, all I did was I partnered with affiliates who were already generating these calls at scale, mind you, and we knew that they were high quality, and then I just bought them and resold them to my buyers for a profit. So imagine this, all right? Let's just make this super simple for those that don't understand the model. An affiliate who is already generating exclusive auto insurance inbound calls, if they're already generating them and they're selling for $40 each, I find a buyer who will pay $45. I broker the deal. I never touch the Facebook ads. I never touch the campaigns. I don't spend a dime on running the ads. All I do is pocket the $5 every time I buy the call and resell it real time. Now you multiply that by thousands of times in a day, and I think you can see where I'm going with this. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how I would set this up from zero and how I would get to $20,000 a day. I'm gonna teach you some of the common pitfalls to avoid, the exact steps that I would have you follow, and the simple relationships that can literally change everything for you. And if you stick with me until the end of this video, I genuinely believe that you are never going to look at client work or typical marketing agency models the same. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, it's going to get into what this would look like if I was starting over. All right, the first thing I would do is get very, very clear on the niche that I'm going after. Now, this is important because not all industries are created equal in pay-per-call. Some niches are seasonal. Some niches have low payouts. Some niches are oversaturated with competition. So you want something that is always in demand. Now, it has to have buyers that are willing to pay very, very well for these live inbound calls. Right? So that's why I would choose something evergreen like auto insurance, personal injury, pest control, or senior health. Right? So these are services that people pretty much always need around the country. Pest control is much more seasonal. I wouldn't probably run with that one in particular because it's seasonal, it's home services. I would probably focus on one of these three because again, they're evergreen. So now once you've decided on your niche, my entire mindset is all about being the connector. So that is your role, not the generator. A lot of people jump into pay-per-call thinking they need to start running ads. They got to set up these complex campaigns and then build traffic from scratch. But that is like literally the slowest way to get started in pay-per-call, okay? The fastest way is to broker. In other words, just finding people who already have the traffic that are already generating these calls, and then find people who need those calls, and then sit in the middle, make a margin on every single call that changes hands, all right? This is very simple. So when I first discovered this approach, it clicked instantly. I realized I could skip months of testing ads, burning through budgets, and learning media buying. Instead, I could literally just partner with people that are already doing it, right? Again, buy these calls for 40, paying 50 for them. Now I have a $10 margin every time the phone rings. Now that might not sound like a lot, but like I explained, when you're doing hundreds or thousands of these calls per day, that shit racks up quickly, okay? So the next thing that you do after we pick a niche, right, is going to be to find the affiliates and start lining these affiliates up. Okay. So this is essentially what your network is going to look like. All right. So we have the affiliates, 1 affiliate, 2 affiliate, 3 affiliate, 4. All right. Each of these guys, let's say they're running Google and or Facebook. So these affiliates drive inbound call traffic from different search and social ad placements into the centralized real-time bidding ecosystem for maximized return on investment. This is me, by the way. All right. So the broker, right? This is how it works. The affiliates are going to be sending the traffic into your ecosystem. All right. From your ecosystem, it will real time utilizing a pay per call tracking software that I strongly recommend, which is Retriever. As these calls come in, your system will digest, your Retriever will digest which buyer the calls should be routed to. All right. Those calls will then come in from the affiliate into your system. Your system dictates, let's send it to buyer purple. Let's send it to buyer pink. All right. It's going to determine who it needs to go to. When it goes into the ecosystem and then shoots out, it's going to be then routed to all of their agents. Okay. So these are the guys that are actually taking the call to close the deals. But that's literally the simplicity of this model. Okay. It's so simple. The affiliates are generating the calls. It's coming into your ecosystem. You are then selling it to the different buyers. Okay. So the first thing you want to do, like I said, is you want to find the affiliates, because the way I like to describe this is if you do what a lot of people do, which is, oh, I'm going to go find the buyers first. You have to sell the traffic to the buyers. Okay. If you go to somebody that wants to buy something from you and they say, okay, what you got to sell? And you say, well, I have calls. And they say, okay, what kind of calls? And you go, auto insurance calls. They say, okay, how are they generated? You're like, I don't know how they're generated. Or, I think you have to know what you're selling. If someone walks onto, if you're a car salesperson and you're selling these cars and someone walks onto your lot and they say, I want to buy a car. And you say, what kind of car? And they say, do you have any Kias? And you go, I don't know if I have a Kia. You have to know what you have to sell before you can sell it, right? Like you have to know what you're selling. So it's important that you don't go to the buyers first. It's important that you go to the affiliates first and you find out what traffic that they have to sell. Okay. So again, first thing you're gonna do is you're going to find the affiliates. Now the question is, how do you find these affiliates, right? That's the first thing that comes to your mind. What I would do in this situation is I would go to LinkedIn. I would deep dive in Facebook, LinkedIn groups, okay, in these communities, these industry forums, and even like niche specific events. Like there are conferences, there are a bunch of different in-person events that you can go to find these people. I'd be upfront about what I am doing, okay? I would say I'm building out a pool of buyers that are looking for insert niche, okay? Auto insurance, pest control, whatever the fuck you want to sell, all right? And you would tell them you're only going to get paid for calls that meet these specific criteria. So it's a no risk, pay per performance pitch that's going to get attention fast, because it flips the usual lead generation dynamic on its head. Instead of them being like, oh yeah, I can only pay you $5,000 a month for this, you can tell them I can pay you unlimited amounts of money. I just need high quality traffic and I need it in volume. Okay. So then once you have the affiliates interested, then I would start sourcing the buyers. Okay. And the buyers are going to be the kind that can take these calls from your affiliates in which you're trying to do scale with. All right. So then what I would do is I would look for proof, not just claims. All right. I want to know how many agents does this buyer have? I want to know what locations they cover. Are they in multiple states? Are they in multiple zip codes? Are they in one zip code? Are they in 5 zip codes? Are they in the entire country? How big of a market do they cover? All right. Then, the last thing that you're going to want to make sure is, do they have sales processes that are already established? If they do not have currently established sales processes, that is going to be so fucking hard. You want to tap into buyers that already have established sales processes. Okay. So then what you're going to do after you can cover all of that information is I would do the most due diligence I could possibly do, because the more that you can do, the less headaches that you're going to have. Then when I find the right partner, I'm going to lock in a fixed rate on that call to make room for my margin. Now, to make sure that all of this runs smoothly, I'm going to set up the call tracking platform. This is integral. This is something that you cannot just decide, oh, I don't want to do this. This is not optional, okay? It is the backbone of your business. And it is this part right here that sits in the middle that determines which buyers your traffic is going to come from, all right? Super fucking important. I strongly recommend Retriever, okay? Get on Retriever, retriever.com. Let me just write it right here. And the reason I'm so bullish on this is because people will tell me, oh, I'm having issues with the call tracking, blah, blah, blah. Go and get an account with Retriever and tell them Nate sent you, so that they know that I'm like promoting them, because I love them very much. And they do really good fucking business for us. All right. So again, you cannot skip this part. This is so incredibly important. All right. So once we have the backbone of the business set up, right, this is going to be the game changer. All right. So now scaling from here is simple. You don't need to reinvent anything. All right. All you have to do is just add more affiliates and add more buyers. If you have one affiliate that's sending into one buyer and you're doing 20 billable calls a day, you add 3 more affiliates in. Now you're scaling this one buyer. Well, guess what? Now we got, 3 other buyers or 2 other buyers that are trying to come in the mix. And guess what? You add 4 affiliates.
3 buyers, this guy can do 100 calls, this guy can do 100 calls, this guy does 500 calls, this guy does 60 calls. Instead of having this one guy that's doing 500, now you might be able to do 750. And then after they have good campaigns and they're able to scale, now they can collectively do 5,000, right? So scaling from here is very simple, all right? Again, start small, even with just a $3 to $5 margin per call, and increase your daily call volume. If you're doing 50 calls a day at $10 per call margin, that's $500 profit per day. At 500 calls, that's $5,000 in profit per day. At 2,000 calls with a $10 margin, that is $20,000 in profit per day. All right, folks, 20 grand in profit every single day. All right, this is literally just basic multiplication. The only thing you have to watch out for is quality, because bad calls will kill your relationships. All right. Now, the biggest mistakes that I see with new brokers is over-promising volume. Okay. Going to these buyers and be like, oh, I can do 5 million calls a day. I can do 5,000 calls a day. Like, no, you can't, bro. All right. You can do 20 calls a day. Let's test out at 20 calls a day. Let's make sure we can do it at 20 calls a day. If we can do 5, we can do 10. If we can do 10, we can do 20. If we can do 20, we can probably do 100. And if we can do 100, we can do a lot more than that, right? So again, do not overpromise on volume, and make sure that you properly vet your affiliates. This is a whole thing. You got to make sure you ask them the right questions. You got to make sure that they're going through the right hoops. You have to make sure that they respect you as an offer manager, because if they think they can just send you whatever dog shit traffic they want to generate, you will get cooked. All right. You can cook your buyer. It can be very, very bad. So if you commit to delivering 200 calls a day and you can only send 50, your buyers are going to stop answering your messages. They're not going to take you seriously. If you take the first affiliate who says, I can get you calls, without checking on their quality, you will burn your buyer's trust. And in this game of relationships, it is the most important thing to remain as a trustworthy individual, because in this case, you are essentially a concierge of your affiliate's traffic, and you are a consultant for the buyer that is looking for high quality calls. Okay. So we're a concierge service for affiliates who are looking to monetize their traffic, and we are a consultant of high quality traffic for buyers who are looking for that traffic. So trust in relationships has to remain as the most important and highest the highest importance throughout this entire process. And if you only have one buyer and they disappear, your whole business model is gone overnight. And that's why it's important to have many buyers and many affiliates, but just start with one, okay? So starting a pay-per-call agency from scratch is not about being an ad specialist or being a marketing genius, okay? This is about relationships. I cannot drive that importance enough, all right? It's about relationships. So if you can connect the people who have the calls with the people who need the calls, you can do it with consistency and you can do it with integrity. You can scale faster than almost any other business model out there. Right now, all right, you have 2 choices. The first choice, keep doing what you're doing, keep scrolling, keep chasing, the next big idea, and let another 6 months slip by without anything fucking changing. All right. If that's the route you want to take, I wish you the best. I really, really do. I hope you find what you're looking for, and I hope that it makes you $1 million in 5 days like everybody says it's going to. The second choice is to shortcut this entire fucking process and learn directly from someone who's making over $200,000 a month with this exact fucking model, okay? And I built literally an entire community of people who are actively buying and selling calls every single day, all right? We have 401 people in there as we speak right this second, all right? And here's the crazy part. This is going to blow your mind. You can get in for less than what you spend on 4 Starbucks coffees in 1 month, all right? It's freaking like $30, bro. $30 to learn how to do this and then to join the community. All right. And again, the community is the most important part. There are people that are literally buying and selling the traffic together. All right. So if you're interested in this world of pay-per-call, join the pay-per-call blueprint. The link is below, and join that shit before I jack up the price, bro. I think I'm going to go to $100 a month, like very shortly, because people are coming in here. They're making a bunch of money. They're finding my buyers. They're finding my affiliates, and then they're running it. And I'm losing business because people are doing good business inside my group. And to be honest, I don't really care because I have plenty of affiliates. I have plenty of buyers, but some of them are taking my shit. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Right? So whether you join the group or you go at the solo, you have an opportunity right now to tap into a business model that most people don't even know fucking exists, okay? The question is, are you gonna watch someone else take this? Are you gonna watch someone else crush this? Or are you gonna move on and you're gonna do this today with me right now? Let's fucking go, all right? Let's make some fucking money. Join the group. Let's party. I'm excited to see you on the other side.